And how's the campaign to move Britain over to Sharia law coming along?
Well, this is in the hands of God. We do our best to propagate Islam. Well, of course it is. I think many people will see that democracy and freedom is no good for the British, no good for Afghanistan, and in fact, we need an alternative. Unlike man-made law, the Sharia is not something which gives you a right today to take it away tomorrow. It's good in all times and places.
Sir, to make this an issue of freedom and democracy is absurd. Anjem, you haven't had a hair on your body touched by this government or this country. You haven't spent a day in prison. You haven't suffered one bit for your views. You're allowed to sit here right now because of freedom and democracy. In your so-called caliphate, you'd have me killed, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you have me? Am I an apostate that deserves death?
Away by Alan Johnson and Gordon Brown to say what he's saying.
Anjem, how many thousands of pounds a year do you get on benefits?
This man gets £2 million with his and his organisation in order to fight against Islam or Muslims.
Look, he's asking two questions. First, what is gained by banning an organisation? You may think he's talking nonsense, but what's gained by stopping him talking nonsense?
On this very show,
I lost money by marginal amounts.
Hang on. On this very show, I oppose the government in banning Hizb ut-Tahrir. There's a clear difference, even though that was government policy at the time. And the difference is that there are over 20 members or affiliates of his group that are serving in prison on terrorism offences. I met members of his group in a Lashkar-e-Taiba training camp in Pakistan. These people describe the 9/11 attackers.
Let's deal with the real issue.
If you are so confident of your position, will you be appealing against this decision?
We don't appeal because we don't believe it's allowed to appeal to man-made law. Secondly, we have had the most support we've ever had following the ban this morning by Alan Johnson. We have been inundated with calls and emails from Muslims and non-Muslims to say that they support us, and quite frankly they're disgusted by the government, who on the one hand advocate freedom and democracy, but when it comes to people want to practice, you know, their own, if you like, views under the realms of their own law, suddenly that becomes a
on the BBC.
Don't you think tactically, whatever you think about nutty views,
views which you two are presenting today,
profoundly held convictions, whatever you want to call it. Is it not counterproductive to wait until something potentially provocative happens, which it doesn't happen in the end because they called it off, like this march in Wootton Bassett, and then to impose a ban on their right to say things?
And that's a mistake the government has made. These people should have been banned when they set up Islam for UK, and it's wrong of the government to suddenly decide to ban them. They should have been banned from the beginning. They are different to Hizb ut-Tahrir, though they're an offshoot of Hizb ut-Tahrir. They do promote and glorify violence. Of course you are. He was the leader of Hizb ut-Tahrir in this country.
Accuse us with all these lies.
What in your life?
I've never been a member of Hizb ut-Tahrir.
Have you been a Daris? Have you been a student of Hizb ut-Tahrir? Can you answer that question?
This is one of my questions. The point is, Marjorie, Korean Foundation will be right out because your own people, your organisation will expose you quite shortly.
All right, chaps, you can continue this elevated dialogue outside. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.
I want your money, I strapped for cash. I need your money too easy to get a job. Give me your money, I'm not being funny. Give me your money too.